and thank you so much for being with us. I'm delighted to be with all of you today at the Retail Economics Summit. My name is Devora Rogers, and I am Chief Strategy Officer at Alter Agents. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the future of shopper behavior and what we're seeing as it relates to new ways of being and shopping from shoppers as our world is changing. So just a moment to introduce myself. I am Chief Strategy Officer at Alter Agents. We are a marketing and consulting research firm based in Los Angeles. We serve some of the world's companies, including Snapchat, Activision, YouTube, eBay, Nespresso, and it's my true pleasure to be with you here today and talk about some of the shifts and trends that we are seeing as it relates to shopper behavior. So it's no surprise that the world we live in is changing, but there are three ways in which the world is changing that is having a profound impact on the way in which shoppers go about making their decisions. If you are a brand selling to products to shoppers, or if you are a retailer selling things to shoppers, or anyone who works in the brand marketing and retail space, these three trends are having an enormous and outsized impact that will change how shoppers buy forever. The first is innovation. So today we have seen a 400% increase in the products sold in grocery stores since the mid-1990s. Patent applications have doubled in the past 10 years. And what this means is that shoppers know that every time they go to buy again in a category, whatever category that is, whether that's automotive, whether that is buying new kinds of plant-based milk, coffee, whatever it is, they know that innovation is constantly happening and not stopping. And so it makes aware that they can potentially find things that are better since the last time they bought. And it's really changing how they enter the category, even categories where they buy regularly. So innovation is the first change that's having a huge paradigm shift of an impact on shopper behavior. The next is accessibility. So today, anyone, anywhere at all in the world can buy things from almost anywhere. They can buy them directly from brands, and there's been a huge growth in D2C products, direct-to-consumer products, a massive growth in e-commerce sales in 2020. Some of that was due to the pandemic, of course, but that was a path that we were well on anyway. And so now it's possible for shoppers to have more choices and more ability to get those choices than before. And the last piece is expectations. And so what this is about is that as we experience incredible innovation, incredible best-in-class experiences in any category, it trains us to expect it in every category. So whether means, that we now enter a stranger's car in an Uber, the car arrives within minutes without us talking to anyone on the phone, without us having to change money between us, and it all happens seamlessly. Now consumers are expecting that experience in every single category that they could play in, whether that's travel, whether that's healthcare, whether that's products that they buy at the store. They are expecting that there will just be these incredible experiences. And that's certainly captured in the fact that, just a few years ago, we would have never gotten inside a stranger's car. And now that's no longer a big deal. And very soon, being in a driverless car will not be a big deal. So all of our expectations are shifting. So these three trends, innovation, accessibility, and expectations, are really changing things for shoppers. And what it means more than anything is that shoppers have become incredibly good researchers. And they're not just good researchers, it really matters to them. It used to be when you talk to shoppers that the thing that mattered most to them was getting a good deal, a good price, a good value. But now, more people want to be as informed as possible when making a purchase decision than even want a good deal. 76%. 62% are using their phone to research a product while in the store. So even if they hadn't intended on buying something, they look it up real quick, and now a whole new set of information is available to them to confirm their purchase or not. And 60% of them always research it online before purchasing. So what these trends tell us is it's no longer possible, if it ever was, to pull the wool over shoppers' eyes, fool them in any way. They're incredibly smart, they're incredibly savvy, and they know how to do the research. They know how to get the information that helps them feel confident about their purchase decision. So let's look at what that looks like from a data perspective. Our team at Alter Agents, we research shopper behavior every which way, and we've been doing that for over a decade. And that has led us to think about these changes through the lens of what we call the shopper dial. The shopper dial is about defectors, impulsives, ambivalents, and loyalists. And whereas most brands for generations have spent all their time on loyalists, right? Those people who buy and who we want to keep, what we see is increasingly loyalty is on the decline. And I'll show you some data behind that in just a minute. But first, let's just look at who defectors are. So defectors are the people that show up at the shelf expecting and planning on buying a brand, but they end up buying another brand when they get to the shelf. Impulsives are people who were not planning to buy in the category, but decided to purchase that shelf. Something caught their attention and they decided to do that. Maybe something on their mobile phone changed their mind. Maybe they read a review very quickly and decided on another brand, or decided to buy in the category when they weren't planning to. Ambivalents are people who knew they wanted to buy in the category, but didn't have a brand in mind. And this group is actually quite sizable. And so as we think about loyalty, where we've spent so much of our efforts and time thinking about loyalists, actually there's a large group of people who are just up for grabs. So when we see the world through that lens, it also allows us to sort of look at it from the perspective of spontaneous versus planned purchases. Now, I think, well, okay, home furniture, that's an important purchase decision. I've got 6 categories here. Home furniture, wow, 90% of people are planning their purchase decision. They are coming in ready to buy in that category. But it turns out 10%, which isn't such a small amount, actually are totally impulsive decisions. On the other hand, packaged coffee, where we tend to think about loyalty being really strong and people really knowing what they want, there's a whole bunch of folks, over 40%, who are making that decision impulsively and open to new brands and experiences when they buy coffee. Even dog treats, something that seems like a small decision, 63% of people are planning that decision. So what this data tells us, and this is data that was taken from a study of 6,000 shoppers recently in the United States that we conducted. So it would be a bit different in Turkey and in Europe, but nonetheless, we see these trends typically playing out globally across all the categories and clients that we work with. And what it tells us is that we have to constantly re-earn loyalty and cannot count on it to move our business forward. Source usage is another metric that we use to tell us how much research shoppers do, how informed their decisions are, how thoughtful they are, how well researched they are. The numbers on the screen indicate the total number of sources that shoppers are using before making a purchase decision in any one of these given categories. The average sources that shoppers now use, and we've been studying it for over a decade since we began this work with the Google Zero Moment of Truth work that we did for Google starting in 2011, is 19 sources on average. Shoppers are using almost 20 sources of information before making their mind to purchase, even in low consideration categories, what some people might consider low consideration categories like packaged coffee or dog treats or household cleaning products. So what this tells us is, as brands, as retailers, as anyone trying to sell anything in today's marketplace, we have to be content creators. We have to create information and put it places that are accessible to shoppers so that when they do that research to help them feel confident about their purchase decisions, that we are there and fulfilling on their need to know more. And you can see just how wild that is, with over 30 sources of information being used before a shopper commits to a self-improvement subscription course. They're going on Instagram, they're listening to podcasts, they're looking at the website, they're asking friends, they're reading product reviews, they're watching videos. Today, a huge percentage of shoppers now watch online videos before even buying dog treats. So as brands, we have to keep this in mind because it's changing the way in which people purchase. It's changing the way in which they consider our brand, find our brand, and say yes to our brand. And the other thing that it's doing, as more and more people are getting access to more and more information and getting used to using it for any category they buy in, it's changing their loyalty. And ultimately, it's producing a greater decline in terms of shoppers who are loyal. You can see that in the home furniture category, only a quarter of shoppers are loyal to a particular brand. In home fitness and dog treats, it's under 50%. Now, packaged coffee does a little bit better with 65% of shoppers loyal. And by loyal, what we mean is they bought the product they said they went in to buy. The brand that they were intending to buy, they ultimately bought. Even for packaged coffee, it's a little stunning that 35% of shoppers actually aren't loyal to something that they drink every day and probably have strong preferences for. And by the way, this loyalty by category isn't the only way that we can understand that loyalty itself is being redefined in this new world. We also see it as it relates to generations. And so what you see here is the percent by generation of shoppers who said that they had a brand in mind and ultimately bought that brand in mind for the product that they purchased. You can see it's highest among boomers, and every year after that, every generation after that, it stair steps down a couple of points until we get to Gen Z. It has the most precipitous drop that ultimately leads to about a 20% decline in generation. By generation, relates to loyalty. And we think that this really has to do with Gen Z being our first true digital natives. So there is only more of this behavior to come. We're never going back to a world where brands can just earn a shopper's loyalty and keep it forever. Instead, we're in a place where every time shoppers enter the category, they are coming in fresh. They want new information, and they have a very different perspective about their commitment to brands and retailers than they ever did in the past. And the reason is because they have more choice and because they're more informed, and they know that they can navigate their decision for themselves, not based on what the brand tells them, not based on what the retailer says, but what they, as shoppers, believe in, have confidence in, and have research to support. So the key takeaways from these trends are really clear for us. The first is you've got to listen to your shoppers obsessively. The days when you could say, well, I'm a good merchant. I know what it takes to bring in shoppers and engage them. Or I'm a brand and I really know what products I need to innovate. Those days are over. Yeah, of course, you're always going to have an ear to trends and innovation and rely a bit on your gut experience. But most of all, you've got to be talking to and listening to your shoppers obsessively. You've got to feed their hunger for content with clear and transparent information. Give them every single piece of information you could imagine, because in every category we study, we find that an increasing number of shoppers want every bit of information available. And that is true for makeup, that is true for clothing, that is true for cleaning products, that is true for cars. Think about putting your favorite director of product, your favorite product marketing director, in front of a video camera and talking about everything as it relates to the product and their experience in the store. Assume that shoppers are beginning fresh with every purchase, and that your brand may or may not be on their list of things that they are thinking about. Accept that this is the new normal, and loyalty will continue to lose relevance as shoppers further adapt and become more and more like these Gen Z, where it's really about the product and its value and the information that the brand provides, not the brand. And shift from the idea of loyalty towards influencing their research behavior. Be there when they go and look for that information, not just with a generic brand awareness campaign, but with real information that satisfies their questions. And with that, I will leave you. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person, but it's been so great to be with you. Feel free to reach out to me with questions or comments. You can look at white papers and thought leadership on this topic on our website at alteragents.com. And I wish you all a wonderful conference, and thank you for being with me.